My name is Kelsey Sutton, and the night my mother told me I'd never be anything but damaged goods, I was 3 weeks away from receiving the Navy Cross for Valor Under Fire. I was 41 years old, standing in the kitchen of my childhood home in Pensacola, Florida, watching my mother arrange canapés for my brother's promotion party. Commander Nathan Sutton had just made captain in the Navy, a prestigious achievement that warranted celebration, champagne, and the attendance of half the naval base. I was there because my mother had called and said it would look bad if you didn't come. Not, "We'd love to see you," or "Nathan wants you there." Just the clinical observation that my absence would reflect poorly on the family. "Hand me those napkins," my mother said without looking at me. Eleanor Sutton moved through her kitchen like a general through a war room, precise, efficient, emotionally detached. She'd been a Navy wife for 40 years before my father died, and she'd perfected the art of maintaining appearances. I handed her the napkins. My right hand trembled slightly. It always did now, a permanent reminder of Kandahar Province 2019. "Are you still having those tremors?" She glanced at my hand with the expression she'd worn since I came home from Afghanistan, something between pity and distaste. "You should see a specialist. It's unsightly." The tremor wasn't the worst of it. I had a scar that ran from my right temple down to my jaw, a thick rope of tissue where shrapnel had torn through my face. The Navy surgeons had done what they could, but I'd never be the pretty daughter again. I'd been the one with the bright smile and the easy laugh. Now I was the one people looked away from. "I've seen specialists, Mom." "Well, you should see better ones. There are procedures now. Cosmetic surgery has come so far." She arranged the napkins in a fan pattern. "You're only 41. You could still find someone if you made an effort." By made an effort, she meant fixed my face. I'd been married once, before Afghanistan. His name was Derek, and he'd left me 6 months after I came home, while I was still in physical therapy learning to use my right hand again. "I can't do this," he'd said, and I'd known he meant he couldn't look at me anymore. My family had been sympathetic at first, but sympathy had an expiration date, and mine had apparently passed. "Nathan's bringing his new girlfriend," my mother continued. "She's a lawyer, very accomplished, very beautiful. Try not to make things awkward." How would I make things awkward? You know how. That face, the hand talking about your experiences. She said the word like it was distasteful. "This is Nathan's night. Let's keep things positive." My experiences included 3 tours in Afghanistan as a Navy SEAL, one of the first women to complete BUD/S training, and join Naval Special Warfare. I'd led a special operations team, conducted over 100 combat missions, and saved 17 lives in the firefight that had earned me the Navy Cross. But my mother didn't talk about that. She talked about my scar, my tremor, my failed marriage, and my situation. My situation was that I was now the commanding officer of Naval Special Warfare Group 2, overseeing all East Coast SEAL teams. I was a Navy captain, the same rank Nathan had just achieved, except I'd made it 2 years earlier. I commanded over 1,500 personnel and had a security clearance so high that most of my work couldn't be discussed outside secure facilities. But my family didn't know that. They knew I did something with the Navy and that I worked in Virginia Beach. My mother had stopped asking about my career years ago, right around the time she'd stopped being able to look at my face for more than a few seconds. "I'll try to behave," I said. She finally looked at me directly. "I just want you to understand that tonight is important. Nathan has worked very hard to get where he is. He doesn't need his sister drawing attention. His damaged sister, his scarred sister. His reminder that war had consequences." "I understand," I said. The guests started arriving at 6. Naval officers in their dress whites, local politicians, family friends I hadn't seen in years. They all had the same reaction when they saw me, a quick double take, followed by forced normalcy, followed by finding reasons to talk to someone else. I'd gotten used to it. The scar didn't bother me anymore, not really. I'd earned it saving lives. But watching people recoil from me never stopped stinging. Nathan arrived with his girlfriend, Amanda, a corporate attorney with perfect hair and a perfunctory handshake. Nathan talks about you, she said with the practiced warmth of someone who'd been briefed. It's nice to finally meet you. You too. Nathan mentioned you were injured overseas. That must have been so difficult. It was a while ago. She smiled with relief at being released from the obligation of sympathy and turned back to Nathan. My brother looked good in his uniform. He'd always been the golden child, top of his class at the Naval Academy, fast-tracked for command, engaged to perfect women and promoted on schedule. He was a good officer, competent and respected. He'd done everything right. And I was the cautionary tale, the daughter who'd pushed too hard, gone too far, and come back broken. The party filled the house. My mother gave a toast about pride and accomplishment and family legacy. Nathan gave a gracious speech about service and opportunity. People clapped and drank expensive wine. I stood near the back patio doors holding a glass of water, feeling like a ghost at my own family's gathering. Kelsey? A voice behind me, my Aunt Carol, my mother's older sister. She'd always been kinder than my mother, softer around the edges. How are you, sweetheart? I'm fine, Aunt Carol. She touched my arm gently. Your mother mentioned you're still in the Navy. Are you doing okay after everything? I'm doing well. That's good. That's so good. She lowered her voice. Between you and me, I think you're incredibly brave. What you did over there, not everyone could handle that. Thank you. Are you still just, she paused delicately, are you still in the same position? I know promotions can be difficult after injuries. Just, that word again. I've had a few promotions actually. Oh, well that's wonderful. What do you do now? Before I could answer, my mother's voice cut across the patio. Carol, I need you inside for a moment. My aunt squeezed my arm and left. I stayed outside, watching the sun set over the bay, listening to the party celebrate my brother's success while carefully avoiding mine. Around 8 o'clock, my mother found me. Kelsey, there's someone I want you to meet. He's a divorce doctor, very nice, and I told him you were single. Try to be pleasant. Mom, I don't need you to set me up. You're not getting any younger, and with your situation, you can't afford to be picky. She smoothed her dress. Derek left because you gave up on yourself. Don't make that mistake again. The words landed like a punch. Derek had left because he couldn't handle having a wife who'd been to war. Because my nightmares scared him. Because the tremor in my hand reminded him that I'd been somewhere he couldn't imagine. But my mother had rewritten that story. In her version, I'd failed. I'd let myself go. I'd been too damaged to keep a man. I'm not interested, I said quietly. Of course you're not. You're never interested in anything that might actually help you. Her voice was sharp now, frustrated. Do you know what it's like for me? Having a daughter who can't even... She stopped, collected herself. I'm trying to help you, Kelsey. Someone has to. I don't need your help. Clearly you do. Look at you. No husband, no prospects, hiding in corners at your own brother's party. You used to be so pretty. Now you're just... She gestured vaguely at my face. This! The patio door opened. Nathan stepped out, his girlfriend behind him. Mom, people are asking about you. He stopped, reading the tension. Everything okay? Fine, my mother said brightly. Just having a chat with your sister. Nathan looked at me with something like sympathy. Hey, Kels, you doing all right? Perfect. Good, good. He shifted uncomfortably. Listen, I wanted to say, I know this whole thing is probably weird for you. The promotion, the party, after everything you've been through. I'm happy for you, Nathan. I know, I just mean, it can't be easy, being back here, seeing everyone move forward while you're kind of stuck. Stuck? He thought I was stuck. I appreciate the concern, I said. Amanda touched Nathan's arm. We should get back inside. The Admiral wanted to talk to you. They left. My mother lingered for a moment. Think about what I said. The doctor's name is Richard. He's waiting inside. I stayed on the patio for another hour, watching the bay turn dark, listening to my family celebrate everything I wasn't. My phone buzzed. A text from my chief of staff, Commander Sarah Mitchell, SECNAV, wants to see you Monday 8 a.m. They're announcing the promotion list. Congrats, Admiral. I read it 3 times. Admiral. Rear Admiral, lower half, to be precise. 1 star. At 41, I'd be one of the youngest flag officers in the Navy and the first female SEAL to reach flag rank. The promotion wouldn't be official until the Senate confirmed it, but the Secretary of the Navy didn't call meetings to deliver bad news. I was going to be an admiral, and my family had no idea. I could have told them, could have walked inside and announced it, watched their faces change, claimed my moment. But I didn't, because I realized, standing there in the dark, that I didn't need their validation anymore. I'd spent years trying to make them see me, see past the scar, past their disappointment, past their pity, but they were never going to see me. They were too busy looking at what I'd lost to notice what I'd become. So I left. I said goodbye to Nathan, congratulated him again, and drove back to my hotel without speaking to my mother. The promotion ceremony was scheduled for 6 weeks later at Naval Station Norfolk. It would be formal, public, attended by senior Navy leadership and covered by military press. My mother called twice during those weeks. I didn't answer. She left voicemails asking me to try harder with the family, to make an effort to attend Nathan's engagement party, to consider what people think. I deleted them without responding. The ceremony was on a Friday morning in August. The sun blazed down on the parade ground where 300 personnel stood in formation. The Navy band played. Vice Admiral Richardson, commander of Naval Special Warfare Command, gave a speech about courage, leadership, and breaking barriers. Then he called my name. Captain Kelsey Sutton, front and center. I walked across the parade ground in my dress-white uniform, my scar visible, my hand steady despite the tremor. The Admiral read my citation. 3 tours in Afghanistan, the Navy Cross, the Bronze Star with Valor, 15 years of distinguished service. Then he pinned the single gold star on my shoulder board. Ladies and gentlemen, Rear Admiral Kelsey Sutton. The formation erupted in applause. My SEALs, my team, my people, cheered so loud it echoed across the base. I hadn't invited my family, hadn't told them about the ceremony. This moment was mine, earned through blood and pain and every choice they'd dismissed as a mistake. But my mother had found out anyway. She called that evening, her voice shaking. "Why didn't you tell me?" I had to hear from Carol, who saw it on the Navy's Facebook page. "An admiral, Kelsey? You're an admiral?" "Yes. And you didn't think your own mother should know? That we should be there?" "Why?" The question came out flat. "So you could apologize for spending years telling me I was damaged? So you could pretend you were proud?" Silence. "You told me I was nothing but damaged goods," I continued. "You said I'd given up on myself, that I'd never find anyone because of my face, my hand, my situation. You spent years making me feel like I'd failed. Like coming home alive but scarred was worse than not coming home at all. I was trying to help you. You were trying to hide me, because I embarrassed you. Because I reminded people that war is real, that it costs something, that your perfect naval family wasn't so perfect." My voice was steady now, calm. "But I didn't need to be fixed, Mom. I needed to be seen, and you couldn't do that. You're being unfair. I'm being honest. For the first time in years, I'm being completely honest." I looked out my window at the naval base, at the world I'd built without them. I'm an admiral. I command the most elite warriors in the United States military. I earned the Navy Cross saving lives under fire. I've done more in my career than most people dream of. And you know what the best part is? She didn't answer. "I did it all while you were busy being ashamed of me. I didn't need your approval. I didn't need you to see past my scar. I just needed you to stop making me feel small." I paused. "But you couldn't do that. So I stopped coming around, and I built something you'll never understand. Kelsey, congratulations to Nathan on his promotion. Tell him I said so." I hung up. She called back immediately. I didn't answer. She texted, "Please, we need to talk." "I'm your mother." I replied, "You were never proud of me until I became someone impressive enough to brag about. That's not being a mother, that's being a spectator." She didn't respond. Nathan called the next day. Jesus Christ, Kells, an admiral? Why the hell didn't you tell us? Would it have mattered? Of course it would have mattered. You're my sister. He stopped. Okay, I get it. We've been shitty, Mom especially, but this is huge. This is incredible. Thank you. Can we try again? Family dinner, just us, no pressure? I thought about it. About years of being invisible, dismissed, pitied. About standing in corners while they celebrated each other. About being introduced as the damaged one, the unfortunate one, the cautionary tale. Maybe eventually, I said, but not yet. I need some time. I understand, he sighed. For what it's worth, I'm sorry. I should have stood up for you more. I should have seen what was happening. You were busy with your own career. That's not an excuse. His voice was quiet. You deserve better from us. From all of us. We talked for a while longer, the first real conversation we'd had in years. It didn't fix everything, but it was a start. My mother sent flowers to my office the following week. The card read, "Proud of you, always have been." Mom. I threw them away. Because pride that comes only after achievement isn't really pride, it's just recognition, and I'd learned to tell the difference. 3 months later, I was at a Navy conference in Washington when I ran into Amanda, Nathan's now fiancée. She was there for a legal seminar, and we ended up sharing a table at lunch. Nathan talks about you constantly now, she said. He's actually really proud. He tells everyone his sister's an admiral. That's nice. He feels terrible about how things were. Your whole family does, she hesitated. Your mother especially, she's been trying to reach you. I know. She really is proud of you now. Now, I repeated. That's the operative word, isn't it? Amanda looked down at her salad. I'm not going to defend her. Nathan's told me some of what she said to you. It was horrible, but people can change. Maybe, but I don't owe her the chance to prove it. No, Amanda agreed. You don't owe her anything. We finished lunch and went our separate ways. That evening, I sat in my hotel room and thought about forgiveness, about family, about the weight of carrying resentment. I didn't reach out to my mother, but I didn't block her number either. That was the best I could do, and it was enough. Because I'd learned something in those years of being dismissed and pitied and told I'd never be enough. Other people's inability to see your worth doesn't diminish it. Their blindness is their loss, not yours. I'd been a ghost in my own family, now I was an admiral. And they'd never stop wondering what they'd missed while they were busy looking away.